Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson, and this is Tactical Preview of Manchester United against Tottenham Hotspur. Oh, my goodness. Jose Mourinho returns. Jose's been box office, hasn't he, since he came back into the league. He's got Spurs back to winning ways after going as far down the road as they did, even worse than Manchester United. He's come in and he's turned them around, which is kind of what you expected Jose was going to do. With the sort of side that he had at his disposal, with the players that he's got at his disposal, the age of the players that he's got at his disposal, I fully expected him to be successful with Tottenham. It is exactly what he was after at Manchester United, a team that's got a strong core. I think he'll probably want to try and spend a little bit, probably on defence, possibly a couple of reinforcements, maybe someone as a bit of an alternative number 9 as a plan B. Marouane Fellaini, pack your shit, you probably come in. But there's certainly a great basis of a team there, which was always my issue with Pochettino, that Pochettino had mega underperformed with how good that starting 11 was. And before everyone's like, well, he made him that good. Sound. Well, his job's not to build teams. His job is to win trophies with the teams that he's built, or the teams that have been built. And are we knowing for sure that all of the involvement in transfers was Pochettino's? It might be. I'm not suggesting that it definitely wasn't. But when you look that Paul Mitchell was involved at both Southampton and Tottenham, there could be something there, especially when you see what he's gone on and done since at Leipzig. So is it a good director of football providing a team for a manager to go and do bits with? And he had them finishing some strong positions. But whatever the issue was, whatever the luster was, it had faded big time with Pochettino. And it's more his attitude towards winning stuff that really grated with me. The things he would come out and say, like, and he didn't say, because I'm at Spurs, he would say stuff like, winning trophies just feeds the ego. The fuck does that mean? Football clubs should exist to win trophies, not anything else, realistically. So, interesting to see how Jose Mourinho has managed to turn it around, because you wasn't hearing Pochettino is the problem, and that was why Spurs had failed. No, that wasn't a narrative that was going on. There was no narrative that Pochettino's lost the dressing room, that his tactics are outdated. Very much what you was hearing with why Jose had to leave United in the first place. What you was hearing with Pochettino is there's been a fallout with the players. He's taken this team as far as he can take it. Jose's going to probably go and win something. That's what Jose Mourinho does. So very, very interesting to see where he ends up with them this season. I would suggest, out of the two clubs, whoever manages to get 3 points tomorrow night, and I would very strongly be suggesting that Tottenham are that team, probably can squeeze into the top 4. Certainly if it's United and we manage to get 6 points this week, which, sitting here right now, if I was a betting man, I could see us getting maybe 1 more point this week. Certainly not 6. 3, a very big push. I mean, City are crumbling, and I actually think that's probably our best bet to get 3. This is a defining week. The noises coming out of the board is that they're totally 100% behind Ollie, and to be honest, I think one, they have to say that, and 2, they should be. Until this guy's got his team, that's his team. I don't think logically anybody else does better with the midfield that we've got. I really don't. I genuinely believe that. Fuck all to do with him being a club legend. You know what my views was on when Jose was here, when Louis was here, that I think this job needs a lot of time. Moyes, do you know what? Solskjaer started to say some stuff which eerily sounds a bit the way like Moyes said it, and I don't like that. And I won't defend when he says things like that. And I do think that there's a very, very real chance that before the end of the season, we'll be seeing another manager at Manchester United. Not that I think that fixes anything. But I think whoever steps into this role is going to need time, and you won't see me just screaming, get rid of a manager, because I still think this needs time. Jose Mourinho was the architect of a lot of his undoing at Manchester United, but so was the board. Jose was right, but Jose was also the cause of a lot of the issues that was present when he was a manager. His attitude towards certain things. Now, he might be proven bang on before the end of the season. He might be proven bang on that he wanted rid of Paul Pogba. He might be proven bang on that he wanted rid of Shaw. He might be proven bang on that he wanted rid of Tony Marshall. He was working with these guys day in, day out. He might be bang on in wanting rid of all those. Clearly, the board didn't want to get rid of all those or wasn't prepared to sanction the absolute eye-watering amounts of money it would require to replace those players. So he could be proven right on all of those fronts. And he could also probably... I don't think he wins a title with his Spurs team because of the state of current Manchester City and Liverpool. I think he would have won a title with this Spurs team in previous years, though. I genuinely think that. So he comes back to Manchester on Wednesday. He's won every game so far with Spurs. Is Jose going to put another nail in the coffin for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? My gut feeling's yes. I don't usually give score predictions on this, so I give one on Full-Time Devils, so I'm going to give one here as well. 3-0 I said on that to Spurs. Which again is why my issue with Pochettino, because that's what Pochettino's Spurs should have been doing to this Manchester United team, when you just look at how good both teams are. If we're able to get out my predicted 11, I actually think we can go toe-to-toe with them. I just don't expect us to get my starting 11 out there. I think it'll be different in multiple areas. But let's have a look at what the starting 11 is going to be, or what a starting 11 I expect there to be. So De Gea in net, Wan-Bissaka, Brandon Williams, Axel and Maguire. Quite defensive in terms of personnel there. I would like to see Axel brought in over Lindelof, who I think is making mistakes. He's making mistakes and he's not the sort of pure defender that I think United really need. I'd love to see Axel line up alongside Harry Maguire. In midfield, Scott McTominay has to come back. Without Scott McTominay, I can't even believe I'm saying this. Without Scott McTominay, United's midfield is just spineless. I would also advocate for a move to the midfield three because I always believed our midfield three is our best formation. I think Fred's been doing just enough to keep himself in the frame. And I definitely want to see Pogba because I think Pogba's got a real personal vendetta with Jose Mourinho. And I think if you played Pogba in this, you'd probably see like an A star Pogba performance. Front three picks itself at the moment. This, for me, would be how you break down that Spurs time. If you go 4-2-3-1 with a number 10, you are going to get smoked the way this Spurs team line up. I would certainly expect to see the way you play a midfield three. So when you have the ball, you've got options ahead of the ball carrier. When you play a midfield two, as we saw against Aston Villa, most of the time, because we're too scared of being hit on the break, the other number 6 is parallel, right next door to whoever's on the ball. When you have, let's say, McTominay in the 6, and you have Fred and Pogba left and right of him, they're occupying spaces, and they're also an easier link to get through to the forwards. When it's one Mata and the other two are too far away, it's very easy to see the pass, and it's very easy to chop that pass and stop it getting there. Two midfielders gives us those options. It puts Pogba in a bit of a creative role, and it also gives Fred a bit of an option to be a link. We don't have a prime Pirlo or a prime Michael Carrick that can hit those balls from deep and find our forwards from in our own half. We don't have that, and even just from inside the opposition half. So we have to move the ball up quicker by having more people in the way. The key player for this game, I think we've all sort of touched on it, is Scott McTominay. I don't think he's a complete player on the ball. I think there's a lot of basic play about him. And basic's not an insult. It's a reality. He isn't even as good as, say, Dylan Levitt with the ball at his feet. But off the ball, his work rate is impressive. The ground that he covers is impressive. It's not Kante, but it's bloody good. His decision-making is getting very good. That's the experience that I'm seeing brought into Scott McTominay's game. And because of that experience, I think Scott's looking bloody good for United. And I think he's been a massive miss while he's been out. I think if he comes back against Spurs, he could have a big part to say in what's going to happen. The major threats that we're going to be dealing with is Son and Dele Alli. They're essentially playing almost as a set of 9.5 with Kane. None of them are really a number 9, but none of them are really a number 10, and none of them aren't really a number 9 either. They all sort of occupy that area. They get very close to each other. They rotate a lot. There's a lot of fluidity. And they're fucking dangerous at the end of the day. They're dangerous players that are going to come and hurt you. In midfield, they're simply better than us. So the way Manchester United win this is that we have to be incisive and fast when we attack. By the sounds of things, it's going to be Vertonghen at left back and probably Kyle Walker-Peters at right back. And if he's not fit, it's going to be Serge Aurier. You can get in behind. Certainly James and Rashford can get in behind with those. And I think it'd be good if they did. Martial's going to have a bit more movement than he's had in recent games. But this is the sort of game where I think Ollie performs admirably in the big games. I think it's the smaller games where we struggle. Very Louis van Gaalish. So I think we create chances. Whether or not we convert those chances into goals, we'll find out on the night. It's how we stop them creating chances, because our defence has been shite and we've been unable to hold leads against 2 promoted sides. One of the best attacks in the league is coming on Wednesday, and I'm worried about that. Let's have a look at the questions from the lads on Patreon. Klaus says, do I think Shaw coming on for Brandon last game is an indication that Shaw will start versus Spurs? I fucking hope not, but I think you might be right, mate. If he plays Pereira, do we riot? If he plays Pereira, the excuses for him are going to start wearing thin, because there's no reason to play Pereira if you've watched him. Andy, do I think we can exploit Spurs at the back with the pace of Rashford, James and Martial as much as Jose has them playing well? I think they look vulnerable. For me, that's where they do look vulnerable. I'm not convinced with Davinson Sanchez at centre-half. I think Vertonghen would be much better there, but he's definitely going to move Vertonghen over to left-back because they haven't got Rose or Ben Davies available. So he's going to go with a centre-half at left-back. That's an issue that, and I think you can break either in between him and Davinson Sanchez or round the outside of him with Dan James. And I agree, I think they do look vulnerable. And they have conceded multiple goals. It's whether or not we make it a basketball game and we try and outscore them. A fucking great game if that's how it goes down. When Stanley will McTominay be risked starting? Will he save him for City? I think there's a load of reasons to actually risk him, because if Jose manages to get turned over here, the confidence Ollie will take from that and the confidence the players will have in Ollie for taking that is probably worth the risk, I think. If McTominay isn't fit, do we almost have to play Garner or Levitt instead of Pereira? Yes, but he won't. And as I said, my 11, I don't think both of them play, but I can't fucking sit here and tell you that I think Pereira should play at all. If Ollie chooses Pereira or Fred ahead of Garner or Levitt, does it show Ollie's not willing to take the supposed risk on the youth and accept Pereira just isn't good enough? I don't think it's that. They're taking a risk on the youth, which he's certainly done. He's playing so many youngsters already. There must be something with Garner why he's not playing him. Levitt, he's definitely not going to play on Wednesday anyway, because I actually think Garner and Levitt are probably going to feature against Tranmere in the Leasing.com Cup. So I think there's that. And it also might say, you might see Brandon go and play in that game, which is mad, but we'll find out, won't we? Sean, Spurs conceded 20 shots against Bournemouth. Do I envisage this being a game full of goals, or will Jose park the bus? I don't think he parks the bus with his team. I think it's too good attacking. I think he goes for it and probably gets it. Would he risk Pogba and McTominay to both start, or would he start similar to against Villa? I'd risk both. I really would. Nabme, do I think we'll see the three at the back again with Lindelof, Maguire and Axel? If so, do I think it'll be able to protect the likes of Fred and Andreas and help them by having a spare man with them in midfield? Now, that was, I thought, the logic for Sheffield United. It didn't work against Sheffield United because they're set up to already play in that system themselves and they know the good and bad points of it. And I think we also had a couple of players who had a fucking nightmare. So I actually wouldn't be devoed if we did line up with three at the back if it was Axel and not Phil Jones. I also wouldn't be really upset to see Axel start centre mid. And if it's only one of them available and we played a midfield three with Axel coming in as well, I'd probably be happy with that. Is it time to give Jesse the start over Andreas? 1,000 times yes. And Clements, will Jose get a standing ovation on his return to Old Trafford? I think he does. And to be honest, I actually don't think I won't be fucking giving him a standing ovation. I appreciate the trophies that he won with us, but once you're gone, you're gone. Certainly when you come back here as a rival. Nah, I don't think I'll be given a standing ovation, but I expect he probably gets one. I'm certainly not going to boo the guy. I'm just indifferent to the guy now. I'm certainly not leader of his fucking fan club. Righty, that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And make sure to like the video. It helps you get found. And also check out the link in the description below. We excuse me, totally rejigged our Patreon page. Channel is supported by Patreon. There's all sorts of extra content that you can get on there, including some new stuff which we haven't started yet because it's all linked to the different tiers and stuff of where we want to be getting the channel to. So there's stuff like a full day's worth of streaming is up there, but obviously it needs members. So come and join. Check out the cranks that's going on. Just hit the link in the description and see what you get for it and make your own mind up whether it's for you or not. But thank you guys for watching. Like I said, subscribe, and if you're at the game tomorrow, I'll see you there, but it's definitely 2 Bovril kind of weather. It's bastard freezing at the minute. Laters.